Here's a live picture of the Capitol. The Senate voted to reform health care without any Republican support this morning.
Now that bill has to be merged with the House version and could become a real partisan battle. Political analyst Thom Serafin joins us with a look ahead. Thanks for coming in. Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Appreciate you coming in.
And to all the people behind the scenes.
Yes,
absolutely.
We love
a lot of work back there.
They make us look good every day. Thank goodness for that. We need help, don't we? Let's talk about this version of the health care reform bill, because the stark contrast between this version and the House's version is the fact that there is no government option, no public option. Do you think we will see a final bill with a government option?
Well, there's a lot of talk that might happen. You know, the president said yesterday that 95% of everything he wanted is in this bill. So I think he's willing to sign this thing without a public option or a government option. They go home now. The Senate comes back on January 18th. I think the House comes back on January 12th. And then they get together at conference committee. And the president will be very much involved in the conference committee, where you have several senators and several members of the House get together in the back room and actually kind of work it out.
But what about all the liberal Democrats in Congress who say, I will not support a bill without a government option, including some of our own congressmen like Jesse Jackson Jr.?
Well, I mean, and Roland Burr said the same thing, but he voted for it. Listen, they're breaking heads. One of the things the Republicans tried to do on the floor yesterday was approve some legislation that would reveal all the deals inside this legislation. It was defeated by the Democrats. They don't want everybody to know all the handouts or the buyouts, the Louisiana purchase, the Nelson, Nebraska deal. There's so many deals inside this bill. Republicans said, let's put full disclosure, let's see the daylight on it, and that was killed by the Democrats.
How is that legal? I mean, how is this constitutional? We are now paying for Nebraska's Medicaid, all of us in the United States. How's that even constitutional?
Well, there's some question. You know, this thing will be challenged in court over a long period of time, and so they're going to try to hammer it out. But the president needs this thing and needs it done now. They had hoped to have it done before the end of this year. Now they hope to have it done before the State of the Union address, which is tentatively scheduled for February 2nd, which is our election day here, primary election day, or January 26th of next year. It now looks like the White House is saying this morning, probably not by the State of the Union address, but shortly thereafter. So they can't go beyond February. So they have to get it done, because the longer it goes, those kinds of issues are going to come up, and that's going to divide the party. They need to get this thing done. And I think the Democrats realize there's so much on the table that they're going to have to swallow some pride and ego and compromise along the way here.
Now, the president says he's going to meet with reporters later today. In the end, or at least at this point, who do you think are the political winners and losers in all of this?
Well, you know, if you take a look at the overnight numbers, it's still 53% of America oppose this legislation. But the Republicans have not done a good job campaigning on this issue or speaking on the floor. They're talking about, we don't need a health care bill. It's not about health care. It's about the deficit. It's about the taxes. It's about those issues that you're going to be robbed of over the next 5 or 6 years, your pocketbook. However, you know, I was at a dinner party last night where a young man told me in the financial world here on West LaSalle Street, he said, what makes you think corporations or insurance companies will take any better care of you than the government? And there are people that think the government might have the right option here. So I think the Democrats are selling it well. Even though it appears today that 2010 might be a tough election year for Democrats, I think if they sell it properly, the fact that you can get insurance now without pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, but who wins in all this? Don't the insurance companies win? Don't pharmaceutical companies win? They got a special deal in there.
Don't people without insurance win?
Now 30 million Americans will be forced to get health insurance.
I'm Mr. Insurance Executive. All of a sudden, you know, I have 30 million new potential customers. And the government says, either you buy insurance from me, or we're going to tax you 2% of your income, up to $750. I mean, so the insurance companies are winners right now. The pharmaceutical companies were able to push back a provision allowing importation of cheaper pharmaceutical drugs. So they won, and they're not too upset about this whole thing. So, but the American people also won, the ones that aren't insured. The irony, though, is if you look deeper at the numbers, the Congressional Budget Office will spend 2 weeks in January taking a look at these numbers. I think we'll be startled. We're going to add another $1 trillion to the deficit that we're going to be fighting. And the irony of all ironies, the president is going to get up there on the State of the Union address on February, and he's going to talk about the jobs situation in this country and how we have to reduce the deficit. So we had an entire year of building the deficit. Now we're going to spend the next year trying to reduce the deficit and really begin to set the stage for the Democrats, the moderate Democrats, to win in 2010. They're not going to make any of the Democrats take some tough votes in 2010. As of this point, you take a look at this thing 10 years from now, you're going to say the president did a pretty nice job politically getting this whole thing put together, painful as it was for many people. But he was able to do a lot in 1 year. And that's what they wanted to do, get it done, get it out of the way, and now run for re-election in 2010 and set up the presidential contest. But we really don't know. Right now, the general public is against this legislation. The Democrats are looking at, falling off the cliff. But there's a lifetime between now and 2010.
All right, Thom. Thanks a lot.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for coming in. We're back after this.